Hello, you guys. This is Jessica from Diamond and Sticks YouTube channel. If this is your first time to my channel, welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. You're welcome here. I appreciate y'all for stopping by and being here. And I appreciate each and every one of my subs. Anyways, what we're going to talk about today in this video is goods and groceries, about ready, and just items in general that we use that's about to go get expensive or skyrocket. And if y'all haven't already, I would appreciate each and every one of y'all that's watching to subscribe to my channel. I surely do appreciate you guys. Anyways, let's get right into it. I don't have many items right down here on it, so hopefully this video won't take up too much of y'all's time. So, number one, what we're going to talk about is meats. And mostly by meats, I mean like beef. I live here in the United States of America, like a lot of y'all do. And I live here in Kentucky, in the United States, North America, whatever. But even here in America, and it doesn't matter like what the situation is or what it might be, whether it's tariffs or just the economy going nuts or whatever it is, or if it's for prepping, doomsday situation scenario, or natural disaster or whatever. Here in Kentucky, where I live at in the United States, they don't even have like a lot of, we're talking about like beef, like cattle, cows, or whatever. I mean, there is obviously stuff like that here, but I think from what little bit of knowledge I have, I think a lot of that stuff is imported, even like with cows and stuff. And it might pour the rain on me, so I might have to scurry on inside the house. So I'm going to try to be fast with this video. Anyways, another thing too, I think we get a lot of our meats from like, especially beef. I think we get a lot of our beef and stuff in the United States here from down in like South America and stuff, like in Brazil and Mexico and all them other places down south. But if you're able to, just like with any other prepping video that I've talked about or that I've did, I mean this with people who's got money, obviously, or has the funding or the ways about going and doing so. So if you can stock up and prep or whatever and get these items before they start skyrocketing or whatever, I would do so. So I would definitely stock up on beef and meats, just meats in general, but also like fish, no matter what kind of fish it is, especially like exotic fish or whatever. Obviously, that if you're not surrounded by an ocean or something, you're going to have more troubles and difficulties of getting those things, like tuna or salmon or whatever you eat. you know that's just a couple of them or whatever. So and also just like canned meats in general and stuff. I think stuff like that's just going to start skyrocketing, just like it did back in the pandemic stuff of like 2020 and on up or whatever. And I'm already seeing stuff with what little online shopping that I do, or window shopping, whatever you want to call it. I'm already seeing stuff like taking place, no matter what the reasoning is because of it. Here recently, within this past month or so, of like, say for instance, if you're shopping online at Walmart or even Amazon, I'm seeing stuff like changing in their prices at the end of your session in your carts or whatever, doubling in prices and stuff like it did back in the pandemic stuff. So if you're able to, I'd get on that. If you're not, if you're like me right now, just make do with what you got and do what you can do with what you have or whatever, and pray about the rest. That's all we really can do while we're breathing. Anyways, number two, I think obviously too, if a person's able to have like a farm or a ranch or any resources or anything like that, you should do so. And whether that's with cattle or animals or even vegetation like trees, fruit trees, and berries and stuff like that. I think, even though I didn't write everything down here, I think fruits in general, especially like I said, like exotic places like that we don't have here in America for the most part, like bananas and stuff like that, or even pineapples and stuff. Um, if you're able to, stock up for long term stuff like shelf life, canned goods or dry goods, like pineapples and fruits and stuff like that in a can, like pie fillers and fillings and stuff like that. Or if you can, I mean, if you have like a generator and stuff and a bunch of freezers in the space or whatever, I would stock up on like freezing or frozen foods like vegetables, and they're obviously healthier and stuff for you too. Anytime you can get, well, the the best is fresh. That's the healthiest for you. But if you can't get it, I guess the second best would either be like probably dried or frozen foods, and then last obviously would be like your canned foods or whatever, which has obviously the longest shelf life. But I think, and I'm already seeing stuff like happening like that. I don't know what the situation is, like I said, but I seen this a couple months back already starting to take place around here where I live at. Is like bananas and your berries, like strawberries, blueberries, blackberries, raspberries, all your berries and stuff. I'm already seeing shortages already again on stuff like that. So if you can stock up on stuff like that, the better off you'd be. And I think that stuff like that is going to get really expensive, especially the more exotic the fruits is or whatever the berries is. You know, the more they have to ship something, the further and the more it's going to cost and stuff. So number 3, vegetables. It's just like fruits or whatever. And like corn, it seems like, I don't know why, but there seems like there's always a shortage with corn, and peas is another one. But as far as vegetable goes, and it is starting to sprinkle on me, so we'll have to try to hurry this up even more. Hopefully this phone won't cut off just me recording. But if you could stock up on stuff like that, better off you'd be or whatever. And I think you're going to start seeing, I'm already seeing stuff like that living around here, but especially with corn. Corn and potatoes, it seems like. Whenever shortages like that happens, for whatever reason, it seems like that you'll start seeing more things like that in the shortage department. And obviously, like, your healthier potatoes is going to be like your sweet potatoes and stuff like that. But I think stuff like that is going to especially start rising in prices. Number 4, chocolate. Obviously, living here in America, we don't have like, I don't even know what it is. I guess a cocoa tree or something. But I guess we mostly get like a lot of our chocolate from like places in South Africa, or not South Africa, South America, my bad, and stuff. And we get it imported and stuff in here. So I think stuff like that is going to be hard to get a hold of. And I also think that the prices on stuff like that is going to raise and be outrageous here shortly. Just my opinion, obviously. And then number 5, the same thing with coffee. I think, and I'm already seeing stuff like that happening with coffee. I think we get a lot of that imported here in America too, from places like in Brazil and further places down south in like South America or whatever. And so I think stuff like that's going to have shortages of. I got a bug on me. And the prices is going to raise. Same thing with number 6, rice. I'm pretty sure we get a lot of our rice. I don't really much eat rice, but a lot of people do. I mean, I will eat it. It's not that it's something that I won't eat or nothing. I just don't crave it or anything. But a lot of foods and stuff, a lot of people put rice in different foods, and I think that there's gonna see a shortage on rice because we get a lot of that imported, and I'm not really sure where we get that imported from. I think we get that imported from like over in China, but I could be wrong because I'm not even really positive on how like rice grows, but I think it grows like on a water source, kind of like off the ground into water. Is what, far as I know, or whatever. And I know right now rice is pretty cheap or whatever, but I do think because of the imports, it's going to raise on rice. And in number 7, I wrote down sugar. And I know sugar is fairly cheap right now, but it's the same thing. And usually it's not like this hasn't happened before, even if it was a long time ago, over a century ago or whatever, like with the Boston Tea Party and stuff, with the sugar and stuff. I just think that because of imports, we're going to see the price on sugar to go. It's going to be hard to get a hold of, and I think the price is going to rise on that. It's just my opinion. Number 8 is eggs, and we've already kind of been dealing with that off and on. And the prices on eggs in my area has came down a little bit to more normal, like we'll say the past 5 or 6 years ago prices on eggs, but it's came down and lowered on that. But I do think we'll see those rise again. And obviously, if you have a ranch or if you have a farm and if you have animals or whatever and you're able to raise animals, the more you're able to do to be self-sufficient or whatever, the better off you'll be. So if you're able to do it and if you have the money and the means to do so, why not? Number 9 is clothing. And we don't produce as much clothing and stuff as what we used to years ago here in America. I would say that's been a dying trade for the past, I would say, half a century or longer. You know, it's just like the same thing. I know that's not what we're talking about today, but it's like the same thing with like the Rust Belt and stuff situation. And I just don't think that we're producing as much clothing or cotton as what we used to years ago, like 50 some years ago or whatever. And so I think that that's going to because of imports. And I think we get a lot of merchandise, clothing and stuff from other countries like India, China. I don't know where they're all from or nothing, but because they're able to produce things cheaper for whatever reasons or whatever, but the cost of imports, I think, is going to make stuff like that kind of be hard to find because of imports, and prices are just going to get so expensive, not just for the everyday citizen or whatever, but it's also going to get expensive for the people who run these big companies and factories. And I guess because of the tariffs or whatever, I'm assuming, and the ones that run like the cargo ships and have crates and stuff of merchandise and stuff to be sent over, imported over. Another one is going to be paper, number 10, because this is just obviously my opinion, but I think here in America, and I should have wrote it down, but I didn't, but I just mean paper in general. No matter what you use paper for, whatever, just like toilet paper, paper towels, whatever, pencil and paper, whatever. A lot of paper and stuff we get like that supplies here in America, we actually get from up north in Canada, and I do believe it's because of the whole tariff situation and stuff, and I think it's going to be America has some resources like all countries do, but we don't have obviously as much resources as what like a place up north like Canada has. And so I think prices on paper and stuff and paper items will rise and become very expensive. Number 11, sorry, the bugs are biting me. I'm going to have to slap them. The bugs, the mosquitoes. But anyways, number 11 is medications. So obviously, if you're on any kind of medications or whatever, like me, and your life depends on it, so to speak, or whatever, I think it's going to become very difficult, unfortunately, and hard for people to get a hold of medications, and even like clinics and doctors and places that they go to, I think are going to start seeing a big old rise. And also with your medical insurances, no matter what kind of insurance or whatever you use, I think stuff like that's going to be become very dire like. And so, because I think, I'm not positive, but I think we get a lot of our medications and like our big pharma and stuff from other countries. I think we depend on China a lot for a lot of that stuff, and also Mexico. So I think medications is something, I think in general, whether it's for a human or whether it's for an animal or pet or whatever, I think medications is going to become very expensive and hard to get a hold of in the upcoming days of the future. Number 12, electronics, and whether this is for computers, your phones, whatever, televisions, whatever it is, electronics that uses pieces and parts, to make electronics and stuff to work with. Because I think we get a lot of that stuff from other countries, like over in Vietnam and China, Philippines, Japan, Korea, or South Korea, my bad, and all those places. So I think those are going to become kind of like you're not going to be able to get a hold of them, and or they'll be hard to find anyways. And then I think they'll be very expensive too. And lastly, here, that's all I had for you guys today on this video. Stuff that I think is going to become very expensive and hard to get a hold of. But I would appreciate it if y'all would like my channel and subscribe to it if you haven't already. It really helps me out, and I appreciate all of y'all who do that for me. And I'm sorry about this drawing. I know it looks funny. It looks plumb awful, but I don't know what happened there. I was not trying to draw nothing. I was trying to draw like a thumbs up sign, but I don't know what happened. Why it looks like that. I'm sorry it looks like that or whatever, but yeah, I don't know. That was supposed to be a thumbs up, so I appreciate it if y'all would like this video, and I really appreciate y'all for watching, and I will talk to you guys later. Thanks. Bye bye.